Starting now. Okay. My name is Lauren Ribancos. I'm with the Historical Society of Long Beach. Today is Tuesday, March 26, 2024. We're at the 11th floor in Councilmember Roberto Uranga's office here in the city of Long Beach. And then what is your name?
Okay, I'm Roberto Uranga, Councilman, 7th District for the City of Long Beach. I'm in my third term as City Councilman in Long Beach, so I've been here a while. This building is about 3-4 years old, so we're fairly new here, but it's great to meet you, and I would like to participate in this interview.
Yeah, awesome, thank you. So we're gonna just start with, where were you born? Like, where did you grow up? What was your experience like?
Okay, well, I'm originally from El Paso, Texas.
Ooh.
I'm well, people might call me like an anchor baby, but I'm not. I was the last born, and I was part of the migration north of my family from Chihuahua, Mexico, through Ciudad Juarez, Mexico, to El Paso. So my older brothers and sisters were born in Mexico. I was the only one born here. So the only reason I'm not an anchor baby per se is because they didn't become citizens because of me. They were already. I'm the last one. I was the youngest, so I wasn't part of that. But they became citizens well into their 80s.
Oh, wow.
So they waited a long time to become naturalized citizens. And my brothers and sisters became naturalized citizens along the way after many years of already being here, filling out what they call the green card. Always filling out the green card.
Yeah.
My dad always used to get mad at that. He said, "Why do I have to fill out the green card? I'm no alien."
Yeah.
So even back then he was always arguing about he's not an alien, but that's how the U.S. considered him at the time.
Yeah.
So he had to fill one out. So after I born in El Paso, I lived there for 2 years as an infant. My family moved even further north into LA. So my growing years were in East Los Angeles. I went to schools in East Los Angeles. I was about to graduate from high school. When I was ready for high school, I was enrolled to go to Garfield. Back in the day, my sister went to Garfield, and my brother went to Roosevelt. So internally, there's an internal battle between the two schools. But I was enrolled to go to Garfield. But then the family moved out again, and at the age of 16, 15, moved to San Fe Springs, San Fe High School. That's where I attended school there, high school, San Fe Springs. And then from there went to Long Beach State. So El Paso, LA, Santa Fe, Long Beach. I've been in Long Beach now over 50 years, since 71. I landed in Long Beach as a freshman, and never left Long Beach ever since. Been here. This is my home. There's no place I would rather be than in Long Beach. I even have not a disdain per se, but a dislike maybe. I don't know if we want to call it that, but if I can avoid going to LA, I'll avoid going to LA.
Yeah.
But I do know LA like the back of my hand because I grew up there.
Right. Oh, do you remember what year you moved, or how old you were when you moved to LA?
2 years old.
2 years old?
Yeah.
And then you were there
Until the age of 15.
15, okay.
So those were my formative years. There you go, that's what I'm looking for.
What was your experience like? Did you have a supportive
Oh yeah, no. See,
education?
one of the good things about my family, well, my mom and dad were that they were very gregarious. My mom, businesswoman, entrepreneur. She had a little market, store. We used to call it Mi Chiquita Market. It was a little deli. It sells sodas and beer. And it was a little store that was across from the terminal in LA, not in East LA.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a great, talk about location. She had a great location
Really?
across from the terminal. People getting off or off the train would go to the store, buy their needs, and then go home or get on the train and go downtown and continue their trip. So, and my father was a busboy all his life.
Mm.
He bussed tables.
Okay.
He never made more than 4,000, 5,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
But they always emphasized education, at least with me.
Mm-hmm.
My brothers followed the footsteps of my dad by being waiters. They went to work with him when he had a job. Me, I never worked as a waiter. I never worked as a busboy. I never washed the dish. I didn't do any of those things. I was more into baseball, athletics, and school.
Yeah.
In school, I did because my mom really emphasized me staying in school. I stayed in school. But one lesson that I learned from her back in the day was I came home from school one day and I told my mom, "Why am I speaking Spanish with you? Everybody speaks English.
Mm-hmm.
My teachers, my brothers, my sisters, everybody, my friends. But you, I gotta speak Spanish. I'm gonna speak English to you." She gave me that eyebrow. Looked at the eyebrow, looked at me. She goes, "You need a lesson." So before she gave me a school lesson, she gave me a good whooping. She whooped the hell out of me. That was a whooping I'll never forget to this day. So she whooped me, and then what she would do was during the day, she would work at the school, at the store.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be in school, and whatever after school athletics I had, then I'd go to the store, and then we'd pack it up, close the store, and we'd go to this community center in LA called La Casa del Mexicano, the house of the Mexican,
Mm-hmm.
La Casa del Mexicano. So after my school day, I'd go to night school. She enrolled me to take classes at night in Spanish, and she enrolled herself into classes in English.
Oh.
So we both were in school.
They offered English classes there for them? Oh,
He-
wow.
ESL,
Yeah.
I mean SSL, I guess,
Right.
Spanish. And we did that for a month. I go to take it so long,
Mm-hmm.
but that's all I needed.
Mm-hmm.
I learned my ABCs, learned how to read, I learned the pronunciation, I-E-O-U,
Mm-hmm.
the abecedario, the alphabet, and that was my entry into being bilingual. And my mom always emphasized to keep my language, to keep my bilingualism, because she knew they would come in handy someday and beneficial. Fast forward, it sure has. It has. It really did.
So English was your first language. Did you just speak English at home until she
Right.
brought you to?
No, until I started elementary school,
Right.
like everybody else, but probably even you.
Yes.
You.
Yeah.
You. Excuse me a second.
No, no worries.
When my voice gets like this, I need to clear it up.
Mm-hmm.
So as usually happens, kids lose their language
Yeah.
when they start school.
Mm-hmm.
And I almost did, but my mom didn't let me.
Mm-hmm.
She made sure that I kept my Spanish roots,
Yeah.
my Spanish language.
Mm-hmm.
And there were teachers. One of my mom's proudest moments, I was about 4th, 5th grade. And my teacher was going to have a school night
Mm-hmm.
with parents, teachers.
Mm.
So she knew I was bilingual, a little better than other kids. So she asked me if I could be her interpreter
Oh.
for that night. So here I am, third, fourth grader in a room full of adults. She's speaking English, I'm speaking Spanish, I'm interpreting. Of course, there were parents who spoke both languages, so they helped me a lot. But it was the fact that I was there doing that for my mom. Very proud of I remember very distinctly, very clearly, walking home that night, and my mom just chest out, walking with great pride, holding my hand, walking home. And I was able to help her in interpreting language. So that's one of my proudest moments as well. Yeah. And what story that I always give, because it really emphasizes the fact that when you preserve your English, or rephrase it, when you preserve your native language, you preserve your culture, you preserve who you are, your identity, and it helps you with your self-esteem. So it helped my self-esteem as well. And like at the time, and even to this day, my name is Roberto Uranga. People try to change it to Bobby, Bob. I said, no, my name is Roberto. And it's always been that throughout my life. I've always been Roberto. My wife, my girlfriends might call me Robert, or Robbie, or Roberto, but it's always Roberto, my name. And I've always enjoyed that. So I've always, people hear my name, they know who I am.
Yeah.
It is part of me. So fast forward to high school, from Santa Fe High School, I went to Long Beach State. So in high school, a lot of kids took Spanish as to learn Spanish.
Yeah.
I took French. Yeah, I know Spanish. Hey, I'm cool.
Yeah.
So I took French. But I learned so much more just from taking French in terms of how the dynamics of language works than I would have than I did in English. I learned about gerunds, prepositions, adjectives, the moods, subjective mood, active mood, so that when I went to Long Beach State, I ended up taking English classes, and I excelled. I did very well in my English classes because I knew the basics of grammar already. Yeah. That I didn't have to relearn. Well, I was already there about what a preposition is. Yeah. Because I knew what a term already. I knew what it meant. Gerunds. I knew what a gerund was. Yeah. So, do you?
No, I don't. I actually don't.
Well, it's ing is going, like a gerund. Like a gerund phrase is going to the store.
I see. Okay.
The phrase going to the store, but it'll serve as a subject, as a noun. This whole thing, going to the store is fun.
Oh, okay.
So it's a gerund.
So, did you just apply to Cal State Long Beach and
yeah, well, in high school, there was a special program called Expanded Horizons, and it was like a program that assisted Latino students in the high school that were help them get into colleges. So a quick story on that is that when I went to Santa Fe High School, mostly white. So I had a little bit of a culture shock going from East LA, which was 99% Latino, to a school that was maybe 5-10% Latino. So I had a real awakening. Yeah. I went to school with a very heavy, deep East LA accent. And people could tell, hey, you're not from around here, are you? No, from East LA. Okay, well, yeah, you're talking like you're not from here. So I had a very deep English East LA accent when I went to school there. So the director of Expanded Horizons, their job was to look at cue folders and pick students who had college level grades. 3 plus. I had that. I was taking college prep courses, algebra 1, algebra 2, chemistry.
Right.
And I was on that track, but I was doing that on my own. I was doing it without direction. I was just I'll go into that class
Yeah.
as a natural progression from algebra 1 to geometry, from geometry to algebra 2, from algebra 2 to calculus. We're gonna talk about calculus.
So did you have counselors who were
Yeah, that's what they were. They were
the ones who were helping you out too?
So
Okay.
they brought me in, interviewed me, saying, do you know what your grade level is? Because yeah, I'm a 10th grader at the time,
Yeah.
11th grade. Because yeah, no, do you know what your GPA is? No, I don't. Because it's about 3.0. So is it? Okay, I didn't know that. You ever think about going to college? Yeah, I know that I want to go, but I don't know how to go about doing that. So, well, we're gonna help you. And they did. They provided me with some help on that. So, fast forward, they paid for my applications to go to various colleges. So at the time, I'm about 17, 18, getting ready to graduate. I applied to the University of Texas El Paso, Alexandro, Loyola, the Long Beach State, Pepperdine. There was one more. There were several schools. Loyola, Alexandro. Anyway, so I got accepted to all of them, but only one offered a scholarship. But even before that, I told my mom, I got accepted to the University of Texas El Paso. My dad was talking about going back home, going back to Juarez and El Paso, where I was born, after retirement. After the store, they left the store, sold the store, we did very well, bought a new home, and then Sandy Springs. And then they were talking about going to El Paso. So I showed the acceptance letter, so I got accepted. They'll even give me money if I apply. Do you want, let's go. Well, let me talk to your mom. Bad mistake, you don't want to do that. Because by that time, my brother had already got married, they had kids, and they lived in LA. She goes, well, all the kids live here, my grandchildren, my sons, my daughters, we all live here. I don't know if we should be going to El Paso. I said, okay, fine with me. So the other school that offered me a great scholarship on the Fulbright was Pepperdine. But Pepperdine in those days, in the early 70s, was located in South Central LA.
Oh.
This is before the Malibu campus.
Yeah.
So I would have to have gone to South Central LA Pepperdine. And then when the Malibu campus opened, transfer there. So I said, let me pay a visit. So I visited the LA campus. Oh, no. Bunch of bungalows made of a district that needed a lot of help. Poor. I said, nah, I don't want to go here. Nah, I don't think so. Thank you for the scholarship, though.
Yeah.
So Long Beach State. I visited that campus up on the hill, overseeing a great view, beautiful campus, beautiful girls. and they offered me a scholarship.
Yeah.
Although I applied through EOP as a minority student, I got accepted, but I didn't need them. I had the grades. So I got accepted, got it through EOP, and started my career at Long Beach State. Bounced around a few majors, but I would always come back. I always bounce back to English.
I was going to say, you sound like an English major earlier.
I was.
Yeah.
I became an English major.
Yeah.
So I took the English, then I took Spanish, and other professional courses along the way. Chicano studies. I have enough units. I never finished it, but I could have finished with Chicano studies major. I could have finished with Spanish major, but English was my major. And as a freshman, I aced my English 1 class. I aced it, and the teacher liked me. So there was a tutor program that I just started the year before, 1970, called Bilingual Special Services. And what it was part of what they call TRIO programs. TRIO programs in those days were special services, upward bound, and talent search. So TRIO. The talent search program, part of the TRIO programs, was early outreach. Go to the schools, identify kids, help them get into college. Upward bound was college experience. The second cog, I guess, in the wheel.
Like first year students, right? Just entering college?
Right. Well, no, to give them exposure
Okay.
to colleges.
Okay.
It was a program where they would recruit students from the high schools to spend 1 or 2 weeks at a college in the dorms and experience college life. Take college level courses
Oh, wow.
and then go to the dorms
Yeah.
and get that college experience. And number 3 was special services, is that once you got accepted into the college, then you would provide you with counseling and tutoring in English and all the subjects that you needed. Well, since I had done so well in English, the teacher said, I want you to go to this program, special services. They have need of English tutors. I think you'd be a great tutor. Why don't you go over there and apply, use my name as a recommendation, and see what happens. So I went, and it was a job.
Yeah.
So
Who
I
was
got
the,
hired.
Who was the professor? Who?
Oh, that was a long time ago. Patricia Mascorro was her name. And her husband, Pat Mascorro, was also an English teacher, and I both worked for them. So as a tutor in that program, they would assign me into a class to take notes, and then their students would come to me for any additional assistance they needed with either composition or interpreting a book or whatever it was that they needed. But it was a like a bonehead English type of thing. So that I already knew an adjective, a verb, noun, that type of stuff.
Yeah.
So it was basic grammar. So I was tutoring that. And then along the way, that's how I worked my way through college, was being a tutor in that program. Became a GA, grad assistant. Then I became, in the meantime, I was working towards my high school credential. That's why I'm talking too much. So, as I, so I was working towards my English credential. So I was in the education program, and I got so far as to do my student teaching, and I did I'm still a tutor. I'm still a lead grad assistant there at Long Beach State. So I'm ready to graduate. Go through my student teaching, graduate, and then I had an epiphany. I don't want to do this. I went into a school in Orange County to teach English 8th graders. In the front row of this class that I was assigned to were twins, 6'5", 320 pounds each. and smart. Buttholes, actually, but but they were smart. They were too big for the britches, literally. And I go, they're bigger than me. They kick my ass. So that was my epiphany. I go, no, I don't think I want to do this anymore. So fortunately, during that time, the assistant director of the program that I was working for, left. So the vacancy was created. I applied. I had been there many years, working as a student aide and tutor, grad assistant. Natural progression was to be assistant director, and I did. I got hired. So I started teaching. I started working at Long Beach State. So I was there for 7 years. Then trail programs is the era of Reaganomics. Education was not a priority when he was governor of California, and a lot of cutbacks. So there were cutbacks in that program, and I had to find a supplemental income. So I got a job with Long Beach City College, doing some counseling there. But not as a counselor, just a special program, which coincidentally, one of my former professors at Long Beach State was running the program. His name, Ellen Lowenthal. Ellen Lowenthal was running that program through the Summer Youth Employment Program. And he hired me to work for him as a counselor with students with disadvantaged students, we called them. We didn't call them minority students, we called them disadvantaged students. Disadvantaged educational, disadvantaged financially.
Right.
So I worked for him for a minute, and then I got a job with the city of Long Beach. And my history with Long Beach is from there just takes off. But that's how I got to meet Ellen. And then when I worked for the city, I just expanded my horizons. What I found was that working at the college level was very, very rewarding. I loved it, but it was enclosed. It was enclosed. Academia is very into itself. Not very opportunities to expand your knowledge or your abilities. So once I landed with the city, I became a butterfly. I flew. But unlike a butterfly, more like a moth. Live a lot longer. So
Yeah.
I was able to expand my horizons. I became the city's first recruitment officer for the city, recruiting minorities, women, LGBT people to apply for jobs for the city, with an emphasis on police and fire. Now, never, ever in my life did I ever think that I would be working with cops or firefighters. I grew up in East LA.
Yeah.
It was tough. Gangs all over the place. Everybody hated the cops. I hated the cops. But here I am. So I had to have a little attitude adjustment.
Yeah.
And so I had to work with cops now. And it was great. The cops that were assigned to me were wonderful guys. They're regular people. And you find out that cops are regular people. They have needs, they have wishes, they have desires, and they eat like I do, look like me. There were very few cops that were Latino in those days, or black, or women. So the cops that were assigned to me were among the few. And so our job was to get more.
Okay.
So that's what I was recruiting. I was going to job fairs, schools, community colleges, AJA programs, administration justice programs, criminal justice programs, fire science programs, fire academies, police academies, naval stations, what do you call those, release stations for the Marines and Army, recruiting people who want to be.
Yeah.
You look like a good cop. You'd be a great cop. Ever consider a career in law enforcement?
Okay.
So
I see.
did that.
Yeah.
And so I did that for 16 years. As that. But because of that, I was able to get to know NGOs,
Okay.
non-governmental offices,
Yeah.
nonprofits, and get to know who they are. And in the interim, got involved with community groups. During that time when I was working for the city, I met my wife. She was her own history, which you talked to. I don't know what you talked about her time with LULAC, the League of United
A
Latin
little
American
bit.
Cities.
Yeah.
Because she was part of the Head Start program there. So she was on the board of directors. So through that, and my involvement with her, real quick say story on that one. So I met my wife. I knew her. I met her when I was working at Long Beach State as the director of it's as part of TRIO. She worked in talent search for UCLA. So we would see each other at conferences for TRIO programs. But like, I knew who she was, and she was like, he knew who I was, but we never connected. We knew who we were for years, but we never connected.
Yeah.
Not until many years later, where we met at a conference. She fell in love, and the rest is history. So, but and since I was with her and she was part of LULAC, I became a member of LULAC,
Okay.
the League of United Latin American Citizens, here in Long Beach. Council 2044, still remember the number. And through that, became involved with community activism. So when people ask me, how did I get involved in politics? That was my entry into getting to know about Robert's Rules of Order, how to conduct meetings, how to behave at meetings. My wife didn't know how to behave at meetings. I did. So, but that's how you learn. That's how I learned our rules of order. And because of that, we raised issues that were very important in the Latino community. One big issue for me, because of my educational background, having worked at Long Beach State, was dropouts, high schools. So myself, along with a couple of other individuals who are involved also with their own groups, we created what we called a Hispanic Advisory Committee to the superintendent of schools. At that time was Tom Judy. Later on, Carl Cole. Those names will come later. But and then Chris Steinhauser. He moved on. But anyway, so the hack, as we used to call ourselves, created this issues where we would go to the board and we tell them what's going on in the Latino community with students. And because we were mau, loud, making a point, advocates for the community, they created us into a blue ribbon committee. So they conducted a study to find out what's happening with the Latino community. So to find out well, we already knew, but they didn't. They needed
Yeah.
to know was that dropout stages began in the 8th grade. That transition between 8 and 9, they lost a lot of students for a number of reasons. So when hormonal, well, of course, high school,
Yeah.
but a lot of it was they didn't have the programs to sustain students. Bilingual education by that time is 1985, 6, 7, around there. Bilingual then was on its way out. That was another reason I got out of education. I was going towards bilingual ed. It was doomed. It was doomed. The funding was doomed. So that's why.
Was that when you left Cal State Long Beach?
I left Long Beach State in 1985.
Oh,
yeah.
Long Beach.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
well, that's right. I started working already.
Right.
I was already working. So when we found out that when they were students, as you probably know by now, is that immigration is a big factor here. And every day there's a new wave of immigrants into the U.S. And every day there's a new wave of immigrants going to schools, Spanish speaking only. So what we found out was that a lot of counselors were misdiagnosing students, putting them in special ed classes as opposed to ESL classes. Because since they couldn't speak the language, they couldn't learn because they didn't understand.
Yeah.
So they were misdiagnosed as being disabled students. Yeah. So, no, you guys just, you're misdiagnosing your students.
Yeah.
They know how to read, they know how to write in their language.
Yeah, it's not English.
You just got to teach them that transition. So they've added heat a little bit to that, started doing more corrective counseling, but not enough. It was just, and even to this day, the school, they may not admit it, but they still have issues with misinterpreting students' scores in terms of cognitive abilities, being able to read, write, and figure things out. Anyway, so through my activism, we were able to correct that. So people began to notice me, and that's how I got involved in politics.
Okay.
It was more like pushed into it, encouraged, than it was through like, there are different types of elected officials. Elected officials that work towards being elected, and others sort of just go through advocacy, community activism. I'm one of those. There are people here I could tell you around every different council office where they were either a legislative aide or worked for a council office or an assembly, senate office. They worked in a governmental office as a staffer to an elected official. And that's how they got their fire in the belly to become and go into politics. I did. Well, my wife and I, we both got it from our community activism, being encouraged. So, fast forward to I'm not gonna talk about my wife, she gave me her story, but to 2000. So in 2000, by that time, I'm well on my way, 47 years old. I got my kids, got my wife, got my career. I'm doing well, doing good. So, Alan Loto becomes councilman in Long Beach. So I know I began to know City Hall. I work for City as a recruitment officer. I got to meet a lot of people, a lot of elected officials. So I felt comfortable being around them. I didn't work for them, but being around them, being able to talk to them at a very low level, entry level. So we, it's important to let people along the way. So the member of the college board, Long Beach City College Board of Trustees, representing my area, Pat Laughlin, was a one-termer. She was on the board. Election time goes around 2000. I'm around the community. I know where I'm at. She goes, you like education, don't you? Go, yeah, I see you. You remember your mom. How would you like to be on the board of trustees? I go, you're on the board of trustees. Because I don't like it. I don't want to run again. Why don't you run? Me? Yeah, why don't you run for City College? Yeah. I said, well, would you support me? Was yes. Would you help me raise money? Absolutely. Would you vote for me? Absolutely. I said, I'll run. So I threw my hat in the ring. At that time, she was black, and the first black in that district, and Latino. But I had a lot of good roots working with black community, NAACP, Urban League, yeah, anyway. And they, through her, thank God, and me, my connections, I was able to defeat the only African American running against me. He thought he could slide in because the black seat, blah, blah. And not so fast.
Yeah.
So, but I was able to win them because I was able to show that I could cross the aisle,
Yeah.
that I could engage other communities. And I did, and I have. My wife and I have very good relations with the African American community and the Asian community because we do that very, very often. Even to this day, we go to events, whether in the African American or Asian community, we're the only two Latinos there because we get invited. We go there, we get along. And unfortunately, not all my Latino friends are as accommodating or as tolerant of being able to get along with other people from other races like we are. So there's only one benefit that I have is being able to relate to other groups, which is a strength.
Yeah.
And people don't realize that, but it is. Just like we're bilingual.
Right.
It's a strength.
Yeah. Going back to bilingual, I think your wife also mentioned that you guys had a bilingual newspaper
Ah,
at the
yes.
time. Were you like spearheading that?
Yeah.
Because you were a tutor and everything
Yeah,
too. So.
yeah. No, little backtrack on that was during the 1990s, yeah, 1980s, when I was working with the Hispanic Advisory Committee. We also created a Hispanic Advisory Committee to the President of Cal State Long Beach, F. King Alexander. No, it was President Ward, Steve Ward at the time. That's how far back I go. I go back. And then it was F. King Alexander. No, then Bob Maxson. There's F. King Alexander. So, then we created the third one, the third wheel, with the Hispanic Advisory Committee to the Board of Trustees, City College. So along the way, two friends of mine, the Duran brothers, Carlos and Ruben Duran, had a newspaper called Onda Latino Americana. And they would cover stories. And I would contribute to their paper every now and then as a, focus on education.
Yeah.
And the dropout rates and lack of promotions, lack of professors. At the time, the highest ranking Latino at Long Beach State was chairman of the Chicago Studies Department, which is like no brainer. So no, we need deans, we need VPs. So that was what the advisory committee was all about. It was meeting with the president to talk about what are you going to do to diversify your staff, your board, your associate deans, your schools. So as a result of that, he hired the highest ranking Latino, became assistant to his president,
Oh.
Rudy Anaya, back in, this goes back, who became the assistant to the president. But being the educator that he was a doctor, Dr. Anaya, historian. He wanted to get into the classroom. So he went back into the classroom, and the position evolved into something else, something different that I didn't recognize anymore. So we didn't disband, but we stopped meeting with him because at that point it was very clear to us that he wasn't going to do any more. And that was Bob Maxson. And he did. But he did set in motion some, at least entry positions that created other entry positions that created directorships, dean, and representation increased. Still not at a level that we want, but better than what it was before. And by the way, as the saying goes, when you raise one ship, all ships rise. African Americans, LGBTQ, all groups started to see a greater representation in the school and everywhere else. Wouldn't you know it?
Yeah.
So that's why. Because that's what it takes. So it takes advocacy to make things happen. And made it happen. Fast forward, talking about making things happen. So I got on the board of trustees. I'm now the first Latino to serve on the board of trustees. And out of 5, 4 whites and me. But I like to, I crossed the aisle. I made great relationships with my board. I was president of the Trustees Association 4 times. 4 times. And along the way, that picture over there at the corner, at the top, that's the college promise.
Right in front of the pyramid.
That's King Alexander, who was president of Long Beach State at the time. Chris Hauser, superintendent of schools at Long Beach Unified, and Eloy Oakley. That's the story where I come in with Eloy. But that was the signing of the College Promise, which is a innovative program that started at Long Beach State that became the College Promise, America's Promise, California's Promise. It expanded from there. So as a member of the board of trustees, the superintendent who was there at the time when I came in, retired, Jack Keel. So there was an opening. Now Cal State Long Beach, Long Beach State College, up to that point, up to me being there, had tried to hire a Latino president superintendent. Failed twice. Miserably. The first time, I was part of the selection committee to hire. I was a community activist, part of the WLAG community activist. But I was on the board. We interviewed, reviewed applications, came to a set of final five, and we forwarded it to the board. 3 Latinos, 1 black, 1 white. The 3 Latinos had what they call terminal degrees,
Okay.
doctorates. Doctor at Coast Community Light College, doctor at Rio Hondo College, and doctor at East LA College, I think. The African American came from somewhere up north, and who was the president of a small college, and the white woman, nurse, he had a doctorate, and then the white woman had a nurse's degree, LVN,
Yeah.
whatever. She was a nurse,
Yeah, whatever.
but she was president of a small college. Out of those 4 minorities, who did they select? Okay, so she lasted. We were all up in arms.
Yeah.
Oh, that was my wife did that. My wife did that. I don't know if I should mention this one. But turn that on. I will give you a
I'll
little
watch it
side
for you.
story here
Yeah.
because I didn't respect it. Come out in this. Okay, so now back to Barbarados.
Yes.
Barbarados was the person with a nursing degree. Got hired over the 4 minorities, and everybody got all up in arms.
Yeah.
And she took a job where she was voted in 2 to 3. 3 voted for her, 2 did not. So it was a split board. She took the job anyway. Never take a job where you have a split board because you don't know. And sure enough, she didn't last.
Yeah.
Fast forward. Me and my wife are out of it. We didn't participate, but they hired Jackie O. I get on the board of trustees. She's on it for a while. She retires. There's a vacancy. I'm now president of the board.
Oh.
So, let's go for it. We opened it up, national search, get a good organization, get back balance, order to be. We have our interviews. And when it came to voting, came down to selection, 3 of us agreed with one. Another one agreed with another one, and another one agreed with another one. So we weren't unanimous. They said, nope, we're not leaving this room until we get unanimous. I don't want to experience a split vote. We have to be united in who we select on this. So the negotiation began. So we negotiated, we worked it all out. We gave it 5, and we selected Eloy Oakley.
Oh.
And for him, the rest is history. People didn't like it, maybe, in the beginning. Latino, the first Latino ever to be selected to lead Long Beach City College. But we felt he was the best, and sure enough, he was the best. So he, later on, he gets selected. He became chancellor of community colleges for the state of California.
Oh, wow.
Shows you the type of selection we made, the quality.
Yeah.
So all that to say to me is that it took a Latino, with my colleagues, 4 white guys, to select a Latino the first Latino trustee, which to me says, shows the power that you can have and you can carry if you build relationships with the right people and make things happen. Fast forward. I'm college trustee. I'm in my 4th term. This is 2013 now. I get hit up by a ball people Al Austin. Gives me a call. Hey, the person who sits on your seat right now, District 7, is not running for re-election. He's going to run for city attorney. Creates a vacancy. You should run. Same question. Really? Yeah. Will you support me? Yeah. You help me raise money? Yep. You help me win? Yep. Okay. I'll think about it. A couple of hours pass. Another person calls me, Steve Neal. He's a city councilman in the 9th district. Al was 8, he was 9. He told me the same thing. Hey, the incumbent not running for election. You should run. Okay. You support me? Help me raise money? Help me win? Yep. Okay. I'll think about it. Listen, an hour later, I get a call from my wife. You know, yeah, I know. I get my press release ready. I get my press conference, my press release ready. So I wrote a press release. Announcing my intent to run. So the next day, when the incumbent announces he's running for city attorney, next article next to him is me, jumping on his seat. Perfect.
Yeah.
So I ran, and the rest is history. I've had, along my career, I've had 7 elections. 6, I won in the primary, and 1, I had a runoff. I had a runoff. That was the only one. So, not bad.
Yeah.
I had 3, I was unopposed. 4, no, 2 unopposed. 3 were in the primary, and then one runoff. So,
No worries.
So going back, I can't wait. I thought we could get to you. I thought I did. Thank you. So, I had to bring that picture, one of these. In 24 in council. I'm serving with the other Latina, Lina Gonzalez, who is now State Senator Gonzalez. But she's with me on the city council. There's 2 of us. So the chief of police position becomes available. Same thing in the past. Qualified Latinos. So between me and her, building bridges, creating relationships with our board, with our fellow council members, we select the city's first Latino police chief, Robert Luna. And now guess where he is? Sheriff. Luna. Okay, let's show you the quality of people we have.
Yeah.
Later on, fire chief retires. Again, same issue. Never had a Latino firefighter.
Yeah.
Fire chief. Why? Dina and I get together again. Relation. We hire our first chief of fire, Javier Espino. He's not retired. But, which again reinforces the story that if you wanna make change, be part of that change.
Yeah.
And if you want somebody to look like you, you gotta be you.
Yeah.
Gotta be you. Take a lot to hire one.
Yeah.
That's what we did. So I'm very proud of that.
Yeah.
If there's a legacy that I want to leave, is that during my time, I hired the first Latino president superintendent on the school board, on the college board, the first Latino police chief, and the first Latino fire chief. That's my legacy.
Yeah.
I love it.
That was amazing. Yeah. I was going to ask you what your biggest accomplishments were and there you go.
That's my legacy. They're my legacy.
Yeah.
And of course, Sean. He'll be my legacy.
Okay.
But what about mentors and allies besides the ones that you had mentioned? Are there a few that stand out the most to you during your time at City Council or learning?
all along the way, mentors come and go.
Yeah.
There are some that last longer than others, of course. My mom. But along the way, there are people you come across who serve as role models for you, positive and negative, mostly positive, of course. And they serve as your people that you could go to. And that was about me state. My role model at that time was Marcela Chavez, who was the director of the program that I became assistant to. I was her assistant. So she was there. When I came to the city, my boss at the time, director of civil service, which is where I started, was George Mitchell, African American. Became my role model. And my colleagues became friends, but they were also people that I could count on for leadership, for guidance, like when I needed it. Greg Haynes, white guy. Herman Long, black guy. When I came to the college board, I missed a very important point in my college board. While I was there, I got elected 4 times, 14 years. I joined the board, the National Board of Trustees, the ACCT, the Association of Community College Trustees. And I served as national president, chairman of the board of the ACCT, the first Latino to do that, to serve as chair of a national organization like that.
Yeah.
ACCT. Not the NAACP, not NALEO, not National Campeón Raza. A general national organization, which is an accomplishment.
What did you do at your time there as a chair or as president? Sorry.
Guess what? That college promise.
Oh.
That's how I became the national. That's how I became America's promise. Because of where is she? Mine. Oh, is that another one?
Which one are you looking for?
Joe Biden.
Oh, Biden? I think she's.
What else were? Huh?
She might be in the drawer.
Well, Dr. Joe Biden was VP. Joe Biden was VP with Obama. She became very much involved with the HCT. I took a prom picture with her.
Oh, really?
I don't know.
We'll have to find it.
Maybe it's right there. Look at that drawer. No, okay. Maybe
Oh my
President
goodness.
Joe Biden. I was president of the ACCT.
Yeah.
So my job. When I became chairman, I told Eloy, he's president, superintendent, so I'm gonna bring you with me, and we're gonna create some change. We're gonna bring the promise with us. We're gonna go national. He says, let's go for it. So Joe Biden, we got her here. She got the mom, the president's here, and we have our America's promise.
That's amazing. Yeah, I was gonna ask you, how did it become to the national level? Wow.
Hello? It's not a story that people know very well because sometimes things just happen, you know. But every story has a genesis.
Yeah.
It starts somewhere,
Yeah.
and then it started at City College.
Like,
It started with Palm Beach.
wow. That is amazing.
And then again, and then we with Eloy at the Chandler's office, California's promise.
Mm. Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
So-
great. Do you have any other mentors you wanted to mention too?
Oh, I mentioned that. And then the most important person to me is not a mentor per se, but my partner, my wife.
Yeah.
She is as how can I put this without being too insulting or macho? Huh?
I said, don't say anything you don't want recorded.
No, I just we're like opposites. I mean, white, black, whatever. We're opposites. She's an introvert. No, I'm an introvert. She's an extrovert. So we clash sometimes, and we clash a lot. But we get along more than our values are the same, and we buttress each other with our thoughts and our actions. My son makes a perfect analogy for him because he's like, "Rrr," and then everything. He says when an immobile object meets a
Unstoppable force.
an unstoppable force, you get me. That's what he says. But that's what it is. On the immovable object, she's a force. And we get that, we like create something,
Yeah.
great energy. And that's what we've done. And we've created a life for each other that has been we should write a memoir one of these.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
and neither here nor there. So I didn't get to finish my story about Ola. So when we during the 1990s, there was two friends started the newspaper, and they were leaving. They were going. So one of them caught AIDS. They were both gay. One of them caught AIDS and died. The other needed to leave. He wanted to go to medical school, get treatment down there in TJ. So he left for San Diego. But he wanted to leave the paper in good hands. He lived with us, with Toy and me. They trusted us. We worked with them. So they gave us a newspaper.
I see.
And we kept it going for a number of years until I got elected. Because then I
Yeah.
can't run a paper, be elected. And then 2 years later, I got elected in 2000. She got elected in 2002. So every 2 years we were running campaigns. So we couldn't run the paper anymore, but we still have it. And we have some samples at home.
you did. Oh,
I can't bring them,
Okay.
but if you want,
Yeah.
I could have Sean pick them up and drop them off to you wherever you're at. We could send them to you,
Okay.
or even mail them to you, whatever you want.
Okay.
You tell me how you want them, we could get them to you, but those are, that's the other legacy we left when we were married. But that was short lived.
Yeah.
We did have our newspaper.
That's
We did dabbled into the media.
Yeah. Did any of your was your family supportive of you going into local politics too, or in general?
You don't want to talk to my wife about that. My wife, at the time that she ran for city council, there were 4 women on the city council. She would have been the 5th. My father-in-law, very much like that guy right there. You know, old thought thinking, traditional macho man. Didn't believe that there should be another woman elected. Didn't support my wife. But she shouldn't run. There's 20 other women on the board already on the city council. She goes, well, thank you, Dad. She ran anyway and won.
Yeah.
So, and now I'm on the cusp of being the only male on the city council with 8 women. There's already 7 of potential for 8 this November. We'll see how that goes, but there's 7. So I'm blessed about women.
Yeah.
And I bless women as my mentors in many respects. It started with my mom. She was my greatest mentor.
Yeah.
My mom.
How about your other? You mentioned that you had children. Were any of them also involved or thinking about getting involved?
Well, they were all involved. They were involved to a certain extent in our politics because of us.
Right.
Stamping letters, carrying banners, going to debates, introducing us. So my wife, when I got elected, I think I had Doris Thompson-Shelburne swear me in when I was on the college board. She swore me in. When Toya got elected, she had her son. Okay. It's not really him, but
I know.
it looks like him. And so it does. It's an uncanny resemblance. Swear him in. When I got elected my 2nd term, my son won't swear me in.
Aww.
When I got elected 20 years later, after my first election, my son swore me in this last cycle, 2022, he swore me in. This son was never involved really in politics. God rest his soul. He passed away in 2022, shortly after. He passed away in September. I got elected in June, the primary. I got elected in June, and he passed away in September. I got my stroke in September. Within a day or two, within a day or two of his passing. It was a very traumatic year for me. Highs and lows. Hi, I got elected. No,
Yeah.
lose my son. But that's my life. That's been roller coaster.
Yeah.
And I tell my wife when they ask me, how's your wife? How's your marriage? It's like a roller coaster. I got my wind up first, and then I got my wee moments. So fortunately, I have more wee than but that's what makes it fun too. They going off for the ride.
Yeah.
Goes off for the ride. So my daughter's not here. I don't have her here. Gotta bring that picture. I gotta bring that picture in. She doesn't not the ball, but she works for Cal State Long Beach now.
Oh.
She followed my footsteps. She went to school there and works there.
Where does she work?
She works with the president's office.
Okay.
She's the director or whatever liaison with the president's ambassadors program
Okay. Wow.
at Long Beach State.
Nice.
Rosalinda Ochoa.
Okay.
She got her husband's name.
Okay.
So yeah, Rosalinda.
Yeah.
She works for Long Beach State. So she followed my footsteps. She went to Long Beach State. My son, he went to Cal State LA, and my other son, Cal State Long Beach. Me, Cal State, Dominguez Hills.
Oh, okay.
So we got the Cal
All
State
in
system
this
covered.
area. Yeah.
We got the system covered.
Yeah. All right. Well, as we wrap up the interview, is there anything else that you want to include? Also, like your plans after city council, and like just any other last thoughts that you want to share?
No, just that, I hope that the future leadership of Long Beach, especially, that's the city I love, the city I work for, the city I serve, is able to continue with its traditions. One other thing that I have that I hope continues to be beyond me is we have some events that I started as a city councilman. The Fiesta at the park at Long Beach, at Silverwater Park, we recognize during the Hispanic Heritage Month. Fiesta at the park, we have folklorical dancers, Indian dancers, Latino groups singing. We're having our first annual mariachi festival.
Wow. When?
Coming up in May.
May. Okay.
2 months here at what's the name of the park?
Harry Bridges Park.
Harry Bridges Park, right by the Queen Mary. So that's coming up. Hopefully, it's our first annual, so fingers crossed. Hopefully, it'll be a success.
Yeah.
So that it'll continue. Maybe get on its own feet, and then being able to be the advocate that I am for getting more diversity and representation. Not only on the 14th, on the 11th floor, but on the city in general as a whole. We have great staff, and I want people to just say that, that it was great working with me, for me, by me. My time here,
Yeah.
I'm sort of a lame duck. After 2026, I'm turned out. That's it. I'm done. What am I going to do afterwards? I don't know. I don't think it'll be public office. I think I'm pretty much run that well dry. I don't think I could do it again. There's nothing available anyway until 2028, and then be out of office already. The best time to run for office is when you're in office. So I'll be done. I don't think so. But you never know. I'll always keep it open. Plus, I'm getting older, and my health is not perfect, but I'm hanging in there.
Yeah.
I try to stay busy. Busy's good. Keeps me.
Do you have any hobbies outside of the office?
Yeah. My hobby is to get myself well. Not really.
Have you been reading?
I've been reading a lot. Yeah, I read. That's a hobby. I read a lot. Novels, historical stuff, but in different genres. Meditation, do that, but nothing concrete. I bounce around a lot.
Yeah.
I diversify. I like different things. So my reading selection is very diverse.
That's nice. Okay.
And that's it. From an adventure novel to a serious autobiography. So it changes.
Yeah. That's nice. Okay. Well, thank you so much for doing this interview.
Feel free to follow up with me.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I
If
would
you
love
need
to.
And you'll probably be reading that again. And when I started working for the city of Long Beach, I was hired as a assistant administrative analyst. I started working for civil service. And one thing that the city had with no control over, let me rephrase that didn't have a very good grasp on, was my legal pay. So I developed the first bilingual test for the receipt of bilingual pay for city employees. So I did that. I did that.
Was it like an exam that you had to take to
I
show
know,
proficiency?
there was an oral test.
Oh, okay.
So I would interview customer service reps,
Yeah.
firefighters, librarians, police officers
Yeah.
who were eligible to receive skill pay.
Mhm.
And that would verify that yes, they were bilingual and yes, they're eligible to receive skill pay. Prior to that, it was word of mouth. Are you bilingual?
Me? Am
Yeah.
I? No, I'm not. My parents.
You should have said yes.
Oh.
You got skill pay. Yeah, I'm bilingual. Yeah, I know how to say hola. I know how to say adios. I'm bilingual.
And they would get skill pay?
And then you get skill pay, $1 an hour more.
Huh. So,
So
when
there
when you were also going, well, you were mentioning right before we started recording, that was completely unpaid when you were
Yeah.
to go into translate?
No, they were paid.
Oh, they were paid,
But
okay.
there was no,
Like,
it was informal. It was informal.
okay.
An informal class that was people were getting
Oh.
skill pay when they were actually not.
Huh.
In fact, I had some of those people come to take the test
Yeah.
because their supervisor said, "You go ahead." I failed them. They were pissed.
Yeah.
They lost money, but oh well.
Mm-hmm.
How many other people did it? I gave them money because they were bilingual and they should use that skill.
Mm-hmm.
So as a result of that, as well, now in the city we have, well, there was a program, the language access. Language access program here in Long Beach. The result of now I have my other colleague, Mary Sandejas. So we're able to continue to push forward language access for non-English speakers in Long Beach. Not only Spanish, but Tagalog, Cambodian, that's what's it called,
Come on.
Kamai. So, so that we could advance those
Yeah.
and we will get paid for it now.
Nice. Oh, so the first one that you were, when you're starting with the bilingual pay, was that just for Spanish?
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Nice.
and that was only me.
Yeah. Would they receive like a certificate?
No.
Or is it kind of just?
They're paid,
Yeah.
they're paid, they're skill paid, they would get that done.
Mhm.
That was their verification.
I see. Okay.
But I would send a little letter,
There was.
congratulations
Yeah.
on your skill pay, that's it,
Okay.
short and sweet.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Thank you for adding that. That was very useful. Very useful.
You're on a list, right?